どんな戦闘でも生き残ってみせるわ。指揮官、期待して。
Hello and welcome. Today I have a match sent to me by Magilou. She is playing in the Tier 10 US Battleship, the Ohio, and it is a ranked battle. It's the newest ranked season, which means that we're dealing with arms race on the map Trident. It's 7 versus 7 in this newest ranked season. It's Tier 10, and arms race means that there are these buffs that spawn in the middle of the map, or somewhere on the map basically. And after the timer runs out, you see the 125 over there, a circle appears below the buff, and once a ship sails into that buff, they take it for the entire team, and then the entire team gains a buff. So this plus sign is a heal, a constant heal that's going on, that heals even citadel damage. This one is a buff on the consumable cooldowns, so your consumables cool down faster, and that one's a buff for rudder shift and speed, which means that you can make some ships really fast. Anyway, Muggy's playing the Ohio, and the enemy team is actually surprisingly similar, at least in the battleship department. Montana, Ohio, well, Conqueror, Republic. But Worcester, Des Moines, Stalingrad, Puerto Rico, I mean, honestly, this isn't too unusual. I would say the most unbalanced part is the destroyers. The enemy team really doesn't have a very good destroyer. Klebad can't really fulfill the destroyer role very well. Anyway, the first salvo is going to be on the enemy Des Moines, and I think that's a very good choice, because obviously if you can take out the enemy cruisers, especially the radar cruisers, that can significantly improve your team's chances. And as we can see right now, the Shimakas is being shot at. This means that the Des Moines has likely a radar. The Shimakas was trying to go for the cap zone in the middle, for the heal, because the heal is probably the best buff. However, the enemy Des Moines counteracted it. But this does put the Des Moines into a difficult position. Now she's stuck basically behind that island, because the Ohio is on the one side and there's a Montana on the other side. She can't easily run away. Nice salvo on the Klebert. I mean, that was 2 shell hits. Not the easiest thing, although at this range, you know, you tend to be able to hit them. So, the focus is probably still going to be on the Des Moines, because she's gonna be, you know, she's gonna appear in a moment. Well, right now it's because of her radar by the Worcester, I believe. However, soon, Maggie will be in a position, or somebody else on her team will be in a position to spot her anyway, the Des Moines that is, and when that happens, well, that Des Moines is toast. In fact, the Des Moines' days are already numbered, because she just can't do anything about this with her current positioning. Because an Ohio, well, actually any battleship at these tiers, other than I think the French tier 10, not Republic, the other one, the one that has an unpronounceable name, all of the battleships can simply overmatch the most of the armor on the Des Moines, because it's 27mm, and as a result of that, AP hurts her a lot at this tier, from battleships that is. You know, even cruisers with 30mm armor would be hurt by an Ohio, but not by the Montana, for example, as much. At least the armor is effective. Whereas, yeah, the Des Moines is in trouble because of that. Oh, Klebert's back. I do think the Klebert probably is wanting to torpedo the Ohio. This makes a lot of sense, because the Klebert is very fast, so she could technically disengage, and on top of that, the torpedoes that the Klebert fires are also very fast. And they have a very... Actually, I don't know if they still have a good concealment, but they do deal a lot of damage, so trying to torpedo the Ohio made sense, but the Klebert was caught off guard by the fact that there was a the friendly Shimakas was over here, which, you know, got the Klebert spotted, and at least spotted much earlier, and it even spotted the torpedoes, so these torpedoes really didn't do much, other than hitting the Conqueror apparently. I don't know how the Conqueror managed to do that, because clearly the torpedoes were known. The surprising thing for me in this match is that the Republic hasn't been firing at Muggy much. And there's the Des Moines. In a lot of trouble. Anyway, so the surprising thing is that the Republic hasn't been trying to fire much at Muggy. Because, sure, Muggy hasn't been showing her much broadside, well, she is now, but not before. And, you know, this makes her a bad target, but usually at least in my games, battleships do like to shoot the closest targets rather than the best angled ones. But I suppose sometimes it'll happen, and this is one of those games. Not that I would have expected that Republic to do much to Muggy anyway, but still. Okay, wow, Des Moines has actually managed to get to the other side of the island while still alive. You know, she has survived for much longer than I thought. Anyway, Muggy has angled away from the Republic. Now the Republic really can't punish Muggy for staying in this position, like she can just sit here for a long time. And I'm guessing she's trying to wait out the heal that she's sitting on, which is 22 seconds to go. Because if you stack up a few heals, your team gains a massive advantage. Anyway, the Des Moines finally went down to the Stalingrad. And now it's time to try to... It doesn't make sense to try to chase the Republic. It makes much more sense to try to go fight the ships on the other side. Also, if you're wondering why the shells are lagging so much and all those things, that's because, unlike usually, I am casting from a replay, which still doesn't have smoothing and everything properly. Despite how many years it has been, but unfortunately that's the way the game works. This is why I usually record my own gameplay, so that you can see exactly what I saw when I was playing it. Anyway, the engagement is going to be on the Montana, Ohio, and Moskva. I would say that the enemy Republic actually kind of outplayed herself, because with the way she's positioned right now, because the Conqueror and the Ohio and I guess the Stalingrad didn't chase her, she's kind of out of the game. Because now the Republic has to try to catch up with the Ohio, you know, these battleships in the middle of the map to try to help her team out. Which I'm guessing that the Republic was trying to aggro so that Muggy and the Conqueror would try to chase the Republic, and this would give her team an advantage, the Republic's team that is, because the Puerto Rico, Montana, etc. wouldn't have to deal with the Conqueror and the Ohio. But unluckily for the Republic, Muggy and co didn't bite, and wow, that was a nice salvo. I thought that Puerto Rico was difficult to citadel, but doesn't seem like it at all. I mean, both of these salvos did a citadel hit. I mean, great. This is good because Muggy was in a 3 versus 5 situation. Now it's only a 3 versus 4 after she basically dev-struck Puerto Rico. I say basically because, you know, they were actually the same salvo, it's just that she didn't fire all the guns at the same time. Anyway, now it's an engagement with a Montana and an Ohio. Now, the secondaries of the Ohio are very good. They're basically, you know, like Georgia or Massachusetts secondaries. And so they are effective. However, obviously the enemy has an Ohio too, which means that they have the same secondaries. And the enemy Ohio has the same HP, so she needs some kind of an advantage. I don't know what it is. Wait, what? 18k? What? How did she deal 18,000 damage from that salvo? That's insane. What the hell? That is really surprising. Anyway, I don't know what that Montana is doing, but she's turning way too much. She has to turn the other way, because in just a few moments she can be citadeled off. Okay, she's turning the other way. I wanted to say that in just a few moments the Montana could have been citadeled off of the map. But she did angle, which means that Muggy takes a salvo to the superstructure and, I guess, somewhat the guns. But she does keep herself angled, so this is going to be okay. Like, she's angled against both the Montana and the Ohio at the same time, so neither of them could easily citadel her. And so the Montana went down now. Now Muggy can focus on the Ohio. She's going to try to do a drive-by salvo, which I think is a very good choice here. Because right now, if she were to fire, she probably would deal like 7k damage maximum. Also, the Conqueror secondaries are actually hitting Muggy as well. Anyway, wow, one of Muggy's turrets was actually broken. But the second one was managed to work, and the last two just citadel the Ohio off, or the Montana, no, the Ohio off of the map. This is why you position your turrets properly before you start the engagement, and then you try to fire into the citadel of the enemy rather than the turrets. Anyway, now it's a 2 versus 2. Sure, Muggy's HP is fairly low, but she still has 3 heals left, and she does have a Conqueror on her team. Now there is a cap in the middle, the Conqueror is blocking it. However, the enemy has a cruiser and a battleship, a Republique and a Moskva, and I actually... Well, depending on how this Moskva plays, I would say that Muggy's team isn't necessarily at a disadvantage anymore. Like, sure, in some sense she is, in that they have much less HP, especially Muggy herself, but in the sense that it's a 2 versus 2, and they were behind a lot more. Okay, never mind, take that back. She's definitely behind. 2 versus 2 is fine, 1 versus 2 is absolutely not fine at all. I mean, the enemy has 100% more ships, right? Because 1 plus 100% is 2. And she has less HP than either of the enemy ships, and not in terms of a percentage, but even ultimately. But you can see that the passive heal is ticking constantly. She's up to 44k HP. However, obviously the enemy has a passive heal too. So they are healing just the same. Wait, what? Oh, it's a Moskva. I was like, wait, what? A Citadel on the Republique like that? But no, on a Moskva that makes sense. The Soviet cruisers do have a fairly weak side. That is, if you catch a Soviet cruiser on the side, and with decent AP that can pen it, you can probably Citadel them. Unlike the battleships, who, if you catch them on the broadside, you actually need a huge amount of pen to actually be able to go through that. That's one of the reasons why Kremlin is so incredibly tanky. The main armor belt is just too thick. However, the cruisers don't have that. And Moskva is still a cruiser. Okay, the angle was a bit too steep. But I mean, still 16k. I think the Montana is gonna go, or sorry, the Moskva is gonna go down soon. Even if not to the main guns, it'll be to the secondaries. Oh, and the Republique is coming. Actually, that's bad. I mean, right now it's very good, the fact that Muggy can fight one ship at a time. Because the greatest advantage you have in a 2 versus 1 is the fact that you have 2 ships worth of guns firing at the enemy, whereas the enemy only has 1 ship worth of guns. And so you literally have double the DPM, if you know the ships are equal. But right now, the Republique kind of misplayed, or I guess you could say the Moskva misplayed, because she basically challenged Muggy on her own instead of waiting for the Republique. If you're in a 2 versus 1 situation, always wait for your friend, or teammate, or whatever you want to call them. And now, I mean, this Republique looks to be in trouble because she is showing broadside. And as a result, she lost most of her advantage. Like, she had a significant HP advantage. To the degree that she could have probably just fired HE and stayed angled against Muggy and eventually won by burning her down. But apparently the Republique decided to risk it and show broadside, and, well, she was punished for it. Not only by regular salvos, but also a Citadel hit. And at this point, I mean, they're equal in HP, and the Republique is on fire. I'd like to point out that Muggy has 11 fires so far, with 0 HE shells fired other than the secondaries. And that's fire number 12. That is somewhat surprising, right? I mean, she just got a Wither in a battleship with secondaries only. That's... I don't think I've seen that one before. Anyway, this Republique is very dead. Muggy wisely turned in there at the end, you saw, right? I say wisely because, well, maybe she wouldn't sink the Republique then. And if she had turned the other way to try to bring her rear turrets to bear, well, she might have been punished for that. So it made more sense to just take the safer route and keep pointing your nose towards the enemy. So let's look at the end result. I mean, wow. 399,560 damage. Sure, you could say that in arms race the potential to deal damage is much higher, because you had the passive heal going on. But this game actually didn't have that many passive heals. Like, neither team had many of them, so it wasn't really that kind of a damage farm as you would think. 5 ships sunk, so a nice Kraken unleashed, a Witherer, a Confederate, the Devastating Strike, a High Caliber, and obviously a Dreadnought. I mean, 9 Citadels is impressive. 444 secondary hits is impressive. But 12 fires without a single HE shell being fired with the main guns? That's insane. I've never seen anything like that. But I mean, obviously the craziest thing is the almost 400k damage. You know, Muggy came to me with the replay and was like, I did 400k damage in the Ohio, but this isn't 400k, come on, right? This is 399,560. I call this false advertising. Anyway, team score, 3,800 base XP. I mean, this is well deserved. Considering number 2 on the team is the Conqueror at 1,700, that's actually insane. This is more than double the XP anybody else got in this game. This is crazy. This is really crazy. I don't think I've seen a game this good in a long time. Damn. Detailed report, 101k damage to that Republic. I mean, Republic does have like 90k HP, plus the heals, plus the passive heals. Makes a lot of sense. But here you can see, 91 AP shell hits, 295k damage. Secondary batteries, 30k damage, 444 hits. However, 74k fire damage. That's ridiculous. 2.4 million potential damage and 172k damage tanked. The Ohio took 69 nice k damage. The Puerto Rico took 62k, Moscow 60k, Montana 58, Des Moines 40k. Come on. Wait, this is 6 ships. What was Muggy's team doing? Muggy did like all of the damage to all of the ships. What's going on? You know, were these guys actually worth the 1,000 base XP they got, or over 1,000? And here's the credits and XP. 756k profit in a tier 10 ship. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Kablamo. And I hope I'll see you guys next time.